joined by head coach Pedro Arruza of Randolph-Macon College football. They were picked in the tie for 5th in this year's ODAC preseason poll. Coach, last year you had a young squad that got a lot of experience. So let's talk about that a little bit. Talk about the experience that those players had and how you expect that to affect the squad coming into this year.
Yeah, I think one of the obvious things coming out of last season was the struggles that we had at the quarterback position. We played 4 different quarterbacks, 3 of whom were freshmen, lost 2 of them for the year. So I'm excited just to have a little bit more continuity at that position. We've got Joe Vero back, who started 2 games at the beginning of the year before his season ended, and Joe McBride, who played a lot, at the end of the year, and I thought played exceptionally well for a freshman down the stretch. Billy Sheehan was the other guy that played. So we've got 3 sophomore quarterbacks that are back. Last year I think it was a little bit of a struggle through camp trying to get those guys up to speed, trying to teach them the offense. And so that was definitely a challenge, but having a little bit of continuity in that position, having some continuity at the receiver position. We had a lot of young guys. I think our top 5 receivers last year were all freshmen. So just having everybody back from that standpoint will make a big difference. Defensively, we returned pretty much every starter. Zach Price played a lot of football for us last year as a senior, but he's really the only guy that we lost. So we'll lose quite a bit after this year on defense, but I'm really excited about the guys that we have back.
You started alluding to some of the other skill positions, if you will, on the offensive side of the ball, running backs and wide receivers. You had one player in Eric Hoy who did a little bit of both for you, kind of like almost like an all-purpose back. And then you had a second receiver that was top 5 in the league as well in receptions. Talk a little bit about what you expect out of the unit that's going to be carrying and catching the ball for you.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the skill that we have returning. Eric Hoy did a tremendous job for us as a freshman. He played receiver. He played running back. He was a Wildcat quarterback. He's a great kid, great student. Really loves football, and just has a knack for playing the game. So I'm excited about having him back. Christian Redmond had a great year as a freshman wide receiver, and he'll be back. I'll tell you, my biggest concern is the offensive line. we have a lot of good players coming back. Nick Powell will be back. We lost Nick last year to a season-ending knee injury. He'll have a 5th year. And so he's going to be back this year. Hunter Clemens is going to be back. So we'll have both our tackles back. But the last 2 years, I think if you look at one thing besides the situation that we had at quarterback that's really hurt us is the lack of continuity on the offensive line. We haven't really had a consistent offensive line for 2 straight years. We've had a lot of guys get hurt, a lot of guys get banged up. So if we can establish a little bit of continuity up front, I think we're going to be in pretty good shape. I like our team speed. I think we have a lot of really good skilled players on both sides of the ball. This is probably the best skill that we've had in a long time at Randolph-Macon. But, it's the guys up front that are going to make it go.
Well, and let's stay with the guys up front, but switch to the other side of the ball and go with defense. Now, as you alluded to, you didn't lose a whole lot from the defensive side, and it all starts up front for you.
Yeah, there's no question. We've got everybody back. I think what we really need to do is establish, better pass rush. We haven't had a dominant pass rusher in several years, so I think the last guy that we had that was an exceptional pass rusher was Tom Solak. So there's a lot of bodies that are going to be competing for time up front, and a lot of guys that got experience last year that I'm really excited about. We have some young guys coming in that I think are going to be pretty good football players. But just overall on that side of the ball, I'm really pleased with the secondary and the amount of speed that we have coming back on that side of the ball. So I thought we underperformed a little bit at the beginning of the year on that side of the ball, but we finished up the year strong, and I like the guys we have coming back.
Looking at the youth that you had that got experience last year, what is the next step philosophically for your squad this year?
Yeah, I think it's what I say every year. I think our program is built on toughness, and if you look at the last 2 years and last year in particular, we didn't win the close games. We didn't win the tough games. We faltered down the stretch, and that's been one thing that we've done in the past. Whether it was a tight game that we found a way to win, or whether it was a game that we were behind in that we found a way to come back and win the game. That was something that we didn't do last year. It was something we really struggled with, and so I think that for us, with the talent that we have coming back, it's going to come back to our chemistry as a team. It's going to come back to the level of toughness and just how physical a football team that we have. I say this every year, but one of the toughest things about Division III is you don't have a full contact period in the spring where you can evaluate your guys. So there's quite a bit right now that is unproven, and I'm excited about our squad, but I doubt that there was a coach that you interviewed today that isn't excited about his squad. But it's going to come down to leadership and toughness and the way that we gel as a team.
And let's finish up here by just taking a look at your perspective on the league as a whole this year.
We say it every year. It's a good league. A lot of challenging teams. A lot of good coaches. So, we're more focused on what we're doing right now. We've got to, play better football and, be a lot more fundamental and play harder and, worry about what we're going to do during camp and how much we can improve between now and the time that we open the league schedule. That's really what it comes down to every year. You have teams that get out of the gate fast and they start out, with 3-0, 4-0 records, and you think that they're going to be contending down the stretch, and you get teams that start off to, a little bit slower maybe, but it's the teams that improve the most week to week that, end up having the best records at the end of the year. So hopefully we'll be that team.